Hey, Tim, we're going to talk today about our computer shop software.
Yep.
Before I get into that, I want to go back to, Tower has been around for decades. We've done a number of unusual things to help us learn different businesses. And I think the first time I met you was when we, for a very brief period of time, had a computer shop in Adelaide.
We did, yeah.
That's about 10 years old looking for a job back then.
Look, I think I was a little bit older than that, but but yeah, it was the early 2000s. I think
Yeah.
It was quite a few years back. It was a.
And that computer shop's nothing like computer shops we sell to today. It was a suburban Adelaide computer shop just selling computers to mums and dads.
Yeah, absolutely. But that said, even back then, we used Retailer for, because we had the application, we used it for tracking the sales and repairs, and the custom builds and whatnot. So I've actually got firsthand experience using it as well. And that was way back then. That was actually our base for our point of sale in Adelaide as well.
Yeah. So things have changed a lot for us since then. And the software that we sell to computer shops today really has grown out of some work we were doing originally with bike shops, where we're focused on repairs and special orders and those sorts of things. And we've got to the point now where we have a decent number of computer shops using our software.
We do, yeah. And look, it happened very organically. We didn't even specifically go after computer shops. It's just, from way back, we actually had one business that was a computer shop and bike in a regional town. They were using us for their bikes, and they're like, hey, let's use it for the computer side of things as well. And it just, from there, they referred it to someone else who was purely computers, and it's really taken off from there. And especially in the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, we've had quite a bit of growth in that industry.
Let's get into it. Let's have a look at what the software looks like.
Yeah, sure. So look, I'll go through a couple of things today. I'll keep this pretty brief, but firstly, what you see here is essentially your main dashboard. Now, one thing we've found with computer shops is they have two quite separate sections to the business, being you've got the point of sale at the front, but then there's often other staff out the back that will manage more quoting and invoicing, and they'll do more larger jobs where they might be quoting a business on 6 or 7 different machines, or they might be sending out information like that from the back office as opposed to serving someone at the counter. So there's two very separate parts of the system for managing that. All your data's still tied together, but the functionality is quite different.
Right.
I'll start with point of sale in the sense that if I come into point of sale, all of this is customizable like my other screen. These buttons over here can jump through levels, they can go to products, and they can be shortcuts to different areas of the system. So if I was doing a standard over-the-counter transaction, if someone came in to buy, say, a laptop, for example, I could scan the barcode on that laptop. Now I've just got a HP here. Actually, I'll use this one. I've got a gigabyte laptop, G5. Now, I've got my system turned on so that for laptops, I'm tracking all of the serial numbers of those.
Nice.
Now, serial numbers, not only does it give me the option to select it, but I can also see what date each serial number for this laptop was received. So if I had, in this case, I've got 2, but if I sell one of these, I want to grab this one with the older serial number, not the newer one for the customer. So I can select that one and then add it to the transaction. So an over-the-counter transaction, really easy. If I wanted to discount that, I can simply click my discount and I can see my GP information on this screen as well. And we can turn that on or off if they don't want staff to see it. That's really easy. But I'm just going to give $50 off of this. So I've discounted it down. I could then go back to my main screen. I could link this to a customer if I wanted to. So I'm recording who's buying it. And that then ties into my marketing and everything in the background.
I can go back and market to that customer based on, or to all customers who bought this sort of laptop.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And even if you wanted to target them based on repairs and servicing, so 2 years down the track, you might send that customer a message saying, hey, Mark, you bought a laptop from us back in 2021. It might be due for us to have a bit of a look at it. So bring it in and, we'll do a free check on it. And that kind of functionality is built in the background.
Yep.
If I finalise this sale, being just an over-the-counter transaction, we bridge it with your EFTPOS machine. When it comes to printing the receipts for customers, these can be totally customised. So we put your logo on the top, store details. if I'd linked it to a customer, it would have had their details on there. And I can see here where I sell a laptop, I've got all of its specs printing out on that receipt as well. So it's still continuing to tell the customer more information about their product. And again, recording all of that in the background for me. That's also got the serial number listed on their receipt, and it holds that in the background. So if they do bring that back in for repair or servicing, I can tie it back to that particular serial number as well.
Yep.
Those receipts can be totally customized. They can be docket style, they can be A4 or A5 or any kind of combination. And you can set those to be different styles from different parts of the system. So this being my point of sale transaction, I can have a docket style one. But if I was doing, say, a quote for a customer or a more invoice type transaction, I can come into quote and invoice management. I can list everything that's on this particular quote, and I could then send this customer a more professional A4 version of that quote or invoice instead. And that brings me to this screen. Some of the other functionality with this is you can have base quote templates. So I could simply, if I had, say, a spec of a machine that is quite popular, but often customers will substitute one or two things out of it, I can simply copy this and assign it to another customer, so I can very easily kind of chop and change quotes for customers.
Okay. So if I was well known for selling a particular config, I could say, here's my standard configuration, and that makes making quotes pretty easy.
Absolutely, yeah. So if I wanted to send this through to someone, I could simply come in here and go print. I can flag it that I want to email it, but not print it. And when I close out here, it'll ask me where I want it to go.
Nice, nice, nice. And so if they want to go ahead with that quote, I can then convert that quote into an invoice.
Really, really easy. Yeah, I can simply flag my invoice option and that'll switch it over. I can then even print a picking slip. So if I went into the storeroom to then go and grab all the parts for that order, I could go and accumulate all of those and put the PC together.
Nice. So what else are people using it for in a computer shop?
Look, so there's that quoting and invoicing side of things. Another really popular element, I'll jump back to my point of sale. I've got a Vampiric 1660 Super Gamer PC, and I can actually jump into this product and I can see all of its information in here. So I've got all of its description and whatnot. But if this was a PC that I'd made up in store, and maybe I've got, a bunch of them all set, ready to go, right. I don't want to sell this through quoting and invoicing. I can have this in my system as a manufactured good. And this tracks all of the components that make up this particular product. Right. So you can build your own goods in the system and bring all of that information together.
Excellent, excellent.
You can also track how it calculates the sell price on that. So I've got mine, I've got all of my components in there. You can see I've also got a charge in there for the system build price. And I'm calculating my retail and then taking 7% off of that total retail price. So they get a discount for buying it as a PC set as opposed to buying all the parts separately.
Right. Okay, so I've got a lot of flexibility in terms of whether I build PCs or don't. I know we're not going to show people necessarily repairs today, but we have some really good repairs tools in the software.
Yeah.
A video where we cover repairs for people.
Absolutely. And repairs, like you said, yes, we've got a separate video, but look, just a quick overview. It'll track all of the jobs. It records all of the information against the product when they bring it in, including flagging whether they left extra accessories with it. So that way, when they book a job in, all of that information is called out on their receipt. So if they come back in next week to pick it up and they go, hang on, you haven't got my external mouse there, you can look at this and go, oh, hang on, yep, you're right, you did leave one, so it should be here somewhere.
Yep. Look, in terms of other things, local computer shops are really important local businesses. And so we have some other tools in the software to enable us to help them serve local communities, whether it's as a fundraiser for local community groups, or whether they want to provide special pricing for members of groups, or whether they run classes and people who come to the classes get some sort of specialty pricing. So the software has a whole bunch of facilities like that help them connect locally and serve the local community in different ways.
Correct, yeah, and setting up discount profiles for customers. So, if they are part of one of those groups, they might get 5% off these particular goods. Yeah, it offers a lot of flexibility with it.
Yep. Look, it makes a big difference to be able to make those sort of connections and to demonstrate that you're connected with those local groups in different ways. Is there anything else that you'd speak to in terms of the computer shop software?
Oh, look, actually, I'll jump back in. One other thing that I would speak about is special orders for products.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of computer shops, there's a huge range of parts and, you know, accessories, printers, screens, and no computer shop is going to carry absolutely everything. So the system also has functionality to manage special orders in the system. So if I was to go in and do, say, a product lookup on my gigabyte laptop,
yep.
I've got nearly 10,000 products in my system, but that's the one I want. I can do a lookup on any product and it'll show me every time I've received it down the bottom here,
right,
what the cost price was, whether the sell price fluctuates. I can see who it comes from. So I've got mine, it's coming from supplier X. It's $1,799. If I didn't have any of these in stock and a customer wanted to order one, I can simply hit my order this item option, link it to the supplier's next reorder report, link it to a customer, and the system will then manage all of that for me. So what will happen from there, it'll go onto my reorder report for supplier X. When I next receive that invoice in with that laptop on it, I'll have to put the serial number against it, so it records that, but it'll then tell me that needs to go to this particular customer. It'll print a label with their details on it. It'll even send them a text or an email in the background to let them know.
Right.
And there's a full management facility for that in the background. So if there's someone in the business that's responsible for ordering those orders for customers, they can go in and see, say, what orders were placed over the weekend while they weren't there, and collate the info.
Yep. Excellent. Now, in terms of payment, you know, we can see there Hum and Zip and FPOS, and of course Afterpay now through what they're doing with the Afterpay card. So buy now, pay later is easy. Paying by cash is easy. Even paying by check is easy with the software. Yep. So thinking about it in a very fundamental retail way, the software even has a really straightforward process for balancing out at the end of the day, balancing the register, and then giving the owners of the business transparency on the business numbers on a daily basis if they want. And then hidden behind all of this are checks and balances that are in place to help business owners identify if, for example, theft has occurred.
Yeah.
So some really cool tools because a lot of computer shops that we know of are run under management. So we have the ability to go and have a look at this information that helps identify. We've done work with the police, we've worked with prosecutors, provided evidence that courts have accepted through the back-end data audit log facilities within the software.
Yeah, it's been a really important tool for retailers, not necessarily in a great way because no one wants to have staff theft, but at the same time, if you can prevent it, absolutely, that's what the tool's there for. And this records logs of everything: cancelled sales, deleted sales, quantity changes, and you can even search on shifts. So if there's a particular window you want to look at where certain transactions happen, this will find those things for you.
Look, for customers, we'll even do some pattern matching around particular types of transactions that we think reflect questionable behaviour. And, we've been known to go back to customers of ours and say, hey, who works on a Wednesday and a Saturday between these times? And they'll say, well, how would you know that? How would you know that we have somebody who does those hours? And we can say that, well, the data shows that they're behaving in a certain way, so they stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
Also through the stock management side and the ability to spot stock take and things like that, we can easily identify if something is being stolen by customers too.
Yeah.
And again, the data is king in that perspective. It really provides valuable insights. Is there anything else, Tim, that you would say before we finish up?
Look, there's some really, really cool tools in the system for managing your information as well. So we've got a facility called the Stock Manager. I won't go into it today, but certainly our computer shop customers have loved that part of the system because it allows you to do things almost as if you're working in Excel with, to very easily run formulas on things and whatnot from within the system.
And you don't have to take the data out of the software, manipulate it and put it back in. You do it all, as you say, from within the system.
Exactly, yeah. And computer shops have loved that because it gives them that control with, as you said, not having to export it and import it. You stay in-house for it all.
And is it fair to say that one of the biggest sources of customers for us is computer shops that have been using MyObs Retail Manager and have switched over to us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and even outside of computer shops, just general businesses in general, we see a lot coming across, and through that we can help with bringing across the product and customer data, and you've got a really smooth process for it.
All right. If somebody wants to see it, they can let us know. They can call us or email us, and then we will be keen to find out more about your business.
Yeah, happy to help.
Once we do that, we can then organise a personal demonstration and take it from there.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thanks, Tim.
No worries. Thanks.